All right, the voice of reason is back. The Truth Talking Sports Podcast is back. Yours truly, Ryan Thomas, is back. But in order for me to be back, that would mean I never left. In order for me to be back, that would mean I have arrived. What's up, everybody? I'm Ryan Thomas. Thank you for tuning into the Thomas Take Sports Podcast. Boy, what a fun day this has been. I get to talk some MMA. I get to talk some Bills. And I also get to talk about an NFL transaction that was done today as the New York Jets have traded away Teddy Bridgewater, quarterback Teddy Bridgewater, to the New Orleans Saints for a third-round pick in the 2019 NFL Draft. I'm very excited for Teddy Bridgewater. I want to let it be known, and I have no shame in this whatsoever. I want to let it be known that I was not the biggest Teddy Bridgewater fan coming out of college. I did not think he was up to snuff in the NFL. I did not think his game would transition well from the Louisville to the pros. And in his action in Minnesota, he did some decent things. Despite his injury, he battled back. He did what he needed to do to get back out on the NFL field. And I admire him for that. I want to give him all the props and all the credit in the world for being able to, really, pun intended, snap down his chin strap and get to work again. I admire that. I admire a comeback story. I admire people that have the drive, determination, will, whatever you want to call it, whatever term you want to put on it. Teddy Bridgewater was able to battle back from one of the most nasty injuries I've ever seen from an NFL player. Or to an NFL player. Well, yeah, technically from an NFL player as well, because he was hit. But you get the point. Teddy Bridgewater, good for you, man. I'm glad that you're one of the guys that didn't get hurt, that slipped through the cracks. I'm glad that you battled back. I wish you nothing but the best. And I'm a fan. He turned me into a believer and a fan. So Teddy Bridgewater, the person's always been a soft-spoken guy, very, very mild-mannered, very courteous, very appreciative of his opportunities throughout his career, whether that be in Minnesota or New York. And oddly enough, now in New Orleans. And I think this is a great fit for Teddy Bridgewater. It begs the question, if Drew Brees were to ever go down, they'd be very comfortable putting in Teddy Bridgewater. I think Teddy Bridgewater might be one of the best backups in the NFL at this current juncture. And the skill set that he has is very similar to a player that I thought the Saints might go after, and that is the other Louisville quarterback that was drafted in the first round, late in the first round, in this past year's draft, Lamar Jackson. So, very interesting transaction here by the Saints as they send a third to the Jets. And my, statement in this title is that the Jets got lucky. I've already seen, guys that are Jets fans. I was just on a Jets show with CJ DeSimone. I'm not sure what his take is on this quite yet. But I've already seen Jets fans say, seen, saw, whatever. I'm so exhausted. I golfed today, golfed 9 holes. It was interesting, to say the least. But anyway, Jets fans have littered my Twitter feed with how great GM Mike McGagan, whatever the heck his name is, they've littered my Twitter feed saying how great this guy is, how he is the ultimate GM. Spare me. Spare me the bullcrap. Spare me any of that, because none of that is valid whatsoever. If you're talking about this one instance as if Mike McGagan or whatever the heck his name is the greatest GM, you're dead wrong. The New York Jets got extremely lucky with what they were able to pull off with Teddy Bridgewater. And I'll tell you why. No team wanted to touch Teddy Bridgewater. Not a single team wanted to touch Teddy Bridgewater but the New York Jets. The New York Jets were the only team desperate enough to get the quarterback room as best as it could be prior to the draft. They went out, they offered, and it is now well documented in the NFL.com Kirk Cousins series. They offered Kirk Cousins $90 million guaranteed to come to New York. And he said no. To come to New Jersey, not New York. They need to change that. Need to change that now. The New Jersey Jets, the New Jersey Giants, and the Buffalo, New York Bills. Not that they put the New York, but Buffalo is the only New York team, damn it. Can we throw that out there? That's plausible? Okay, end of story. Back to the subject matter, though. The Jets got extremely lucky with this move. There is nothing in my remote mind that would tell me that it wasn't lucky. Nobody wanted to touch Teddy Bridgewater. Many people believe that he had played his last down in the NFL, including the team that used a first-round pick 4 years ago, 5 years ago now, to draft him in the Minnesota Vikings. They went so far to say that we will start a journeyman quarterback instead of you. We will then cut that journeyman quarterback that leads us to the NFC Championship game and spend $86 guaranteed million on Kirk Cousins instead of you. Putting you out on an island known as the free agency island for the other 31 teams to bid on you. And that message sent shockwaves along the league that made other teams in the league say to themselves, where is this kid at? Is he going to come back? Is he going to be what he once was? And what he once was a rising decent quarterback. Was he an all-star? Was he a Pro Bowler? Was he, shredding the league in limited action like Deshaun Watson? No, he was not, but he was serviceable. He was decent, and he played his butt off. And the New York Jets offered him a one-year deal. I believe it was upwards of $10 million. I could be wrong on that. I'm paraphrasing on that end. I'm not sure on the particulars of that contract, but the New York Jets signed Josh McCown in free agency again, signed Teddy Bridgewater in free agency before they landed another lucky instance in drafting Sam Darnold. Nobody thought the Jets were going to be able to get Sam Darnold third overall. I sure as hell didn't, because I thought the Cleveland Browns were different. Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, fool me twice, whatever. You get the point. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me again, then we're in bad shape. The Cleveland Browns fooled me. They tricked all of us. They made us all think that they were smart enough to take Saquon Barkley first overall and then get Baker Mayfield fourth overall. But what did they do? They took Baker Mayfield first overall and they took Denzel Ward fourth overall, allowing the Giants to get the running back that they've desperately needed for 15 years and allowing the New York Jets to get the quarterback that they've needed for 40. And you're going to tell me that this Jets GM is some genius, this Bill Polian, this Phil Jackson of football. Spare me. Do the Jets have pieces? Yes. But every team in the NFL has pieces. X's and O's prove whether a team is worthy or not. On the field, not off of it. So to say that this Jets GM pulled this ultimate coup and is this genius, the biggest laughing matter of all of this is if you take a look at this trade as a Buffalo Bills fan, Teddy Bridgewater was on one leg heading into this offseason. The Jets get a third-round pick for him when Buffalo could barely get a third-round pick for Tyrod, who had been their starter for 3 years. That end of it I understand as it being, okay, maybe they did get a lot for Teddy, but Teddy Bridgewater is fully healthy. He's 25 years old, and he's the heir apparent now to a surefire, first ballot Hall of Famer in Drew Brees. And guess what, folks? Any team could have made the same damn trade that the Jets just made had those teams had the desperation that the Jets had those teams had as much desperation as the Jets had, they would have went and made that move. Not even Buffalo was desperate enough to go out and take a chance on Teddy Bridgewater. Maybe they were wrong for that. That's another topic for another day. Maybe they weren't, because they knew who they wanted the entire time. The Jets didn't know if they could get the guy that they wanted the entire time, which is why they went out and got Teddy Bridgewater. Nobody thought Sam Darnold was going to be third overall. Nobody thought Baker Mayfield was going to be first overall. If you tell me you did, you're out of your damn mind. There's nothing in the world that should state, no one should state that this Jets GM is this lost prophet. This was a purely business luck move. The Jets were the only team desperate enough to go out and get Teddy Bridgewater. They did that. He was healthy. He had a good camp. He wanted to go to a team where they knew he would play, where he knew he would play, and where the Jets would give him an opportunity to play. The Jets did him a very classy gesture. But in the process, they got a third-round pick for it. That's a starting player for the next 4 years on your franchise, ideally. That's a Harrison Phillips. So all the stuff about the Jets GM being so great, I'm not really seeing it in this instance. I'm sure he's made some great moves. I think they've got a load of talent in their front seven. Jamal Adams is a stud, highly rated player on my board when he was coming out. I think he was my second rated player. And I thought that he was as good a defensive back, safety, whatever you want to call it, as anything I've ever seen in this draft process. They even have talent on offense. I really like Robbie Anderson, and I liked the Jermaine Kearse trade that they made. I know Muhammad Wilkerson was a stud, but I like Jermaine Kearse. He's a decent receiver. Not great, but not terrible. But to say that this guy really knew what he was doing when he didn't know what he was going to get out of Teddy. No one knew what he was going to get out of Teddy. No one knew what they were going to get out of Teddy, and if they did, then every team would have been trying to sign Teddy to just ship him off for a third-round pick. That's my point, okay? That's my point. The Jets did not know what they were getting out of that. They took a chance, and it paid off. For Teddy, it paid off even more because he's in a great situation with a great coach, a consistent culture, and I wish him all the luck. The Jets fans, I hate to burst your bubble, but come on, give me a break. That's a joke. Every single team knew that Teddy was not what he once was. The only team that was desperate enough to take a look and see were the New York Jets. I'm Ryan Thomas. It was the Thomas Take Sports Podcast. Take care, everybody. Sundays and Wednesdays, live on YouTube and Facebook. Tune in, subscribe to the YouTube channel, like the Facebook page. Plenty more coming up this week, next week, the week after that, and so on. This show is not going anywhere. I'm not here to take part. Take care.